Welcome back to the Afternoon Express, love. Listen, we are having such a good time. You just witnessed the ultimate dance-off, but now it's time to cool it all down. Are you guys ready for this dessert?
So ready. I love dessert. It's my favorite part of the meal.
Really?
Yeah.
Same WhatsApp group.
Same.
Okay, well, we're all about celebrating Dylan and Mekaila's favorites, and this one recipe you don't want to miss out on. A Moorish, decadent brownie that will be sure to tantalize your cravings. Now, of course, this is the most perfect bite-sized morsel for movie night. Now, this is something that you are just so obsessed with.
I'm obsessed with brownies. Anything chocolate, give it to me and I will down it. I just love it. Oh, okay.
You should come over to my house. I make chocolate everything. I make chocolate.
I'll be there.
I make chocolate-flavored chocolate.
I'm there. Oh, okay. I love it.
Okay, so let's make this because it's one of our favorites. And as you can see, we've served it with a generous dollop and serving of ice cream. And I can't think of any other way to enjoy it. Some people like it with cream, but I feel like the heat from the...
Yeah, that warm brownie, girl.
Yeah.
And that ice cold... Oh, oof, girl.
It's like, yeah.
It's like in your mouth.
It's like Balasa do me dancing in your mouth. That's what it is.
That's what I'm talking about.
I think I should just leave right now.
But anyway, so you're going to help us by mixing the dry ingredients together. You've got some cocoa powder. You've got, in fact, let me ask you to tell us what you got, because you're the aspiring chef.
Okay, let me see. Okay, so we've got some cocoa powder over here. We've got some white granulated sugar.
She even went and granulated.
She said granulated.
We've got some flour over here, right, girl?
You are correct.
And we've got some baking powder. Either baking or bicarb.
That is baking powder.
Yes, baking powder, generally baking powder. There we go.
So another thing, just on that step, now you've mentioned baking powder. Baking powder is optional because a lot of people don't want rise in the brownies. And the whole idea about a brownie is because it'll be nice and chunky and dense, you know, starchy.
I love a good fudgy brownie.
Fudgy, that's the word I was looking for, yes. So that's what we want. So if you don't want to, you don't have to add the baking powder. And as you can see as well, we've not added too much flour, but what goes in there is that cocoa powder, that because you want the chocolatey goodness, that ooey gooey flavor of chocolate, you know. But we also want something that binds it and makes it nice and soft in the center belly, and this is where the wet ingredients come in.
I was literally about to ask. We clearly have the dry ingredients down and packed.
Yeah, so the wet ingredients here, we're using some semi-sweet chocolate. You could use dark chocolate. If you use milk chocolate, just bear in mind that they might be slightly sweeter because there is a lot more sugar in milk chocolate than there is in dark chocolate or in semi-sweet. So just bear in mind that if you like it sweet, I mean, it's completely up to you. So into my chocolate, I'm adding some mass. And the reason for that is you want that balance.
Ah, that's new for me.
Yeah.
We both were like, what?
Because some people would use, remember when people make chocolate cake, some people would use mayo, some people would use cream, buttermilk. Amasi, man. Amasi basically works like the buttermilk.
I'm taking that, eh? I'm taking it home.
Steal it, girl. It's okay. As long as you don't steal our moves, I'm fine with you stealing the
Okay.
I'm coming for you. You don't...
You are today. It's hot in here, eh?
You don't challenge us to a dance battle, Mahala. And then into that, I'm adding some melted butter and our eggs. And then we're just basically going to whisk all of this through. Now, I'm doing this how I normally do it, but I know a couple of different people might add the sugar and the eggs together and then do that. That also would be up to you. I don't know, since you make food a lot, I don't know how your steps would be.
I mean, it's always different depending on the type of brownie that I want. So, yeah, it depends. Sometimes I want a cakey brownie, the recipe and the method would be different. And if I want a fudgy one, the method would be different.
Well, you heard it here first, South Africa. It's about what you want. What you want determines what you get. Okay, cool. So now that part is done, and what I've done is I've made sure to fully incorporate the wet ingredients, because once I add in my dry, because I also don't want to activate the gluten, I'm not going to be whisking a lot. I'm just going to be folding it together.
And to me, talking about the whisking, before you started completely going in, I saw you kind of poking and prodding the same way I do my cereal in the morning. Before you actually went in. Why is that?
The reason for that is I added my eggs all at once. So I wanted to make sure I break them apart. But if you add them all at, one each, then you add one, mix it, add one, mix it. That's the only difference. But depending on whether you are pressed for time and you want to just chuck everything, just make sure you break them open so that you don't end up baking your brownie and then end up with an egg yolk just
Scrambled
staring at you
egg,
there.
lovely.
Like, hey, pals, you know what I mean? So we're going to start adding our wet ingredients, our dry ingredients, sorry, into our wet. I'm adding it a half, and then I'm going to add our choc chips to that, because remember, like I always say, if you're making chocolate brownie, if you're making a baked good and you're going to be adding anything to it, because it gets dense and can sink to the bottom, you want to at least coat it with something dry so it goes leveled throughout the whatever baked ingredient or baked good you're making. So I'm just going to mix these through, add my choc chips. I'm also using some dark chocolate chips. Look, I like chocolate.
The best. Yeah, girl, chocolate on everything.
I wanted to
The
hold
more,
back.
the merrier. No, we never hold back on chocolate.
And
never
speaking
hold
of,
back.
Mekaila, I actually want you to have a taste. We both have 2 taste testers, and I know this is
You
like,
know, my standards are high. Okay, guys, my standards are high.
I want your rating out of 10. First of all, the crunch, as soon as you put your teaspoon in there.
That was good, eh? That was like how I like it, fudgy. You know, I'm not a fan of a cakey brownie, but that was perfect. 10 out of 10 for you, girl.
This is before she even tastes it.
I mean, just based off that alone, okay?
Okay, so let me
Let's
also
just
try.
have a look.
Okay, yeah.
What is in here? Are these nuts? In this one?
Yes, so that's what I wanted to touch on.
Variation.
Very,
Yeah, there we
very,
go.
very
I also
well.
like biscuits in some, you know. You can
thought
do
of that.
biscuits in some brownies. Yep, it's so good.
That's
Give
a good
it a try.
idea.
Well done. Okay, listen to me. On my side, 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
And you guys know I'm not much of a sweet treat
Nope.
type of person. But this is not too hectic, not too overwhelming. Are you giving it
So
10?
good, 10. 10 all the way, honey. Home run.
Thank you. Thank you very
Wow.
much. So we need to bake these babies up, obviously. Make sure that you've greased your pan as fully as possible, because you don't want it sticking there and you pull it out and it just sticks to your baking dish. So I'm going to hoy this into our pan, into our baking dish. We're going to bake this, depending on the heat of your oven, we're baking it at 180 degrees. We're baking it at about 180 degrees. We're going to...
Mekaila was like, I'm going to keep eating. Mekaila was like, I hear you talking, but I'm going to keep eating.
Yeah, so we're going to do about 20 to 30 minutes. And unlike other baked goods where you poke and your skewer comes out clean, it's not going to come out clean because it's nice and
gooey,
fudgy
yeah.
in the center. So just make sure you follow the recipe so that you can cook it according to the correct cooking times. And then you will have yourself a perfect brownie. You'll see it with that nice cracked top. That's when you know it's the right brownie. Now just get
You
this
pour
baby.
that in there whilst Mekaila
Look at that
is
oozy,
eating,
oozy.
whilst Tumi is cooking. We want you to get this recipe. Please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za to get the full ingredients list and recipe to this delicious yumminess. Now, don't go anywhere because we've got more Afternoon Express mastery coming your way.